right, Kevin Baxter knows what's going on. Fixed the feed just in time. 2 seconds of technical difficulty and my heart stopped dead. Jason Sims in the house with us. What's up, everybody? It's Chris from Cycle Source Magazine. I am going to be your engineer tonight on 90 to 120 minutes of all the performance you can handle from the two-wheeled world. Torque Performance going live in just 3.5. Just enough time for you guys to get a cold drink, kick back, and relax. Hit that like and share button. Let your friends and neighbors know we're going live with Torque Performance Television in 3 minutes. Stick around. There's our buddy Freddie Bolich. Hey y'all, what's up from sunny Florida? Bad days never, Fast Freddy forever. Love y'all so much. A picture of me in the magazine, so much mad respect. Freddie, man, we love you. Thanks for tuning in tonight and checking out the show. And can't wait to see you in Daytona, man. Daytona, can you believe I'm saying this? We're weeks away. Weeks away. A number of weeks still, but you got projects, you better get them rocking. Jason Holman in the house. Let's do this. We're almost ready at the 2:20 mark. Winding down the countdown to get ready to launch this episode of Torque Performance. Hey, while you're watching tonight, remember, you don't have to just sit there and be an observer. You can get involved with the show. That chat box that you're seeing comes from all the social media channels that carry Torque, all the YouTube and Facebook pages. You can put your comment in from wherever you're watching, and it's going to come up in that box during the show, and the host will get to it and answer your questions, comments, or concerns throughout our time together tonight. 1.5 minutes when we're going live. Get ready for Torque. Steve Burrows live from Connecticut. That one threw me for a loop. Isn't that supposed to say Detroit? What are you doing in Connecticut? That's what's up. What are you doing in Connecticut? Hitting the 1 minute mark now. The boys are getting the bikes fired up in the back. We're getting ready to launch this show. Hey man, if you guys have any ideas out there, people you'd like to see us interview, or ideas for tech, what you'd like to see from the performance world, let us know. We want to hear. This is a show we do for everybody. Every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, we go live with another episode of Torque. Steve Boyle says more to come. There always is with you, Poppy. Wait till bike week, right on. Daytona just around the corner. Brian Woodford, Walter Coro. What's the fastest FXR? That's a great question. Jason or John will have to answer that for you. The fastest FXR. I know that Jay Allen has a pretty damn fast one. He takes out the assault flash. 8 seconds. Let's get you guys cut loose and fire up this episode of Torque Performance. Here we go.
Hey there, and welcome back to episode 31 of Torque Performance Television. I am your host, Jason Hallman. I am joined by my cohort in crime, Mr. John O'Brien. How are you, John?
I'm doing well. How was vacation?
It was very fruitful. I need a vacation from my vacation. So
got it.
I did. I've lived here 12 years and I've never gone and done like touristy things. And so this time we went and we did as many touristy things as we could. And I've got to tell you, we went to the Fountain of Youth and I think it worked.
Debatable.
Debatable. And then we went to the coolest thing that we did that I would tell everybody, if you have even a modicum of interest in anything scientific at all, the Kennedy Space Center was dynamite, dude. I've never
been there.
It's listen, it's absolutely
never
amazing.
Been there.
When your kids get a little bit older,
yeah,
it's as clean, as well thought out, and as interactive as kind of like how Epcot and Disney are.
Yeah.
I mean, they show you everything. They show you how they faked the moon landing, the whole deal. It's amazing. It was amazing.
Now, what about the fort? Did you do the fort in St. Augustine's?
Yeah, we did the St. Augustine fort. That was awesome. That was very, very cool. It's amazing how different all of the because I've been to some castles and stuff over in Europe.
Yes.
It's amazing how they brought some technologies over and implemented some new. It's kind of a smaller version of all that, but it was very interesting to be somewhere where so many different things happen. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that was the first civilized colony in the New World. So it's very, very, very cool. Yeah. Very cool place.
That place is impressive.
And you were telling me about another place that I never even heard of that I didn't get to go to. So next time we go, we're going to do
Prohibition Kitchen.
Yeah, we're going to do that. And we're going to do the Ripley's, believe it or not, museum.
Yes.
Found out that's the original Ripley's. It's in the house that the Ripley guy lived in. So that's pretty cool. So thanks to my mom for that.
What about the gator farm? Did you go to that gator farm there?
I live in a gator farm, dude.
Like some of the gators have 3 legs. You know what I mean? It's fucking wild. Yeah, they're animals.
Here's the one thing I did do that you remember a few months back when we did the episode and everybody thought it was real funny to laugh at Jason and his fear of heights when I was on the chairlift. And
yes.
Well, so Karen and Cameron's wife and my buddy TikTok that was over, they wanted to go to the lighthouse in St. Augustine. And I thought, no big shakes. We'll just go to the lighthouse. I'll go to the top of the lighthouse. Dude, I got about halfway up and you can look down, you can see through the stairs. And I was not having it, dude. It took me a minute to get up. And by the time I got back down from there, from climbing, my hands were aching from squeezing the railings. I was so freaked out.
Oh, my God.
You should see the pictures of me up there. There's a picture of me standing and I'm like up against the wall. Like now Karen's like, you're doing good. You're doing good. Like I learned to walk for the first time or something. It was, dude, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. It's an irrational fear, but it's definitely.
Now, where does the fear kick in? You know what I mean? Like 6 foot, 10 foot, 20.
I would say I can go on my roof of my house pretty confidently.
Single story, right?
Yeah, like as long as I know that like I'm probably not going to die when I fall. The problem was in the lighthouse. I didn't think about it. It's a spiral staircase that goes up for like 294 steps. It's like 5 stories or whatever, and you can look down in
the center.
I was just like, okay, nope, I'm out. This is not fun.
What about the Statue of Liberty? Have you ever done the Statue of Liberty?
I've been to New York one time. It was go to the Indian Larry Block Party in 2007. It was rush in, go around, rush out, almost get beat up by a street gang and then go.
Typical New York experience, you know.
Pizza at 3:30 in the morning, get up at 5:30 and head back to Detroit back then. But no, I haven't been to the Statue of Liberty, but it's on that part of the country I need to visit it more. So I need to see some of the real history stuff. But what I was saying is that I was really surprised that how much more you'll learn about places you thought you knew a bunch about if you
actually go to
stuff. Yeah, it was very, very cool and very informative. So I sang karaoke. I don't know if anybody saw Nothing Stock Cam's broadcast.
I saw.
It was pretty awesome. I'm gonna post that up today. It's about a 5-minute video of me doing an air guitar solo that I've got to tell you is probably the best air guitar solo I've ever seen in history. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Your opinion slightly a little bit biased, or
well, you know what? We'll put it out there on the Torque page. We'll put it out there on the Speed Metal Belt page, and we will just let the people judge for themselves because it was a pretty good guitar solo to a pretty good song. I mean, I did Working Man by Rush.
Do I get to call Chris and tell him we lost all our followers, or do you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we'll probably gain more followers. I think it'll probably be the algorithm on that. It'll break Instagram. It's going to break Instagram. Hey, listen, John, I don't know. I wanted to thank you for giving me a ride the other day. They caught that on video. Check this out.
Let's check it out. Oh God.
I think he killed me. I think I might be dead.
Dude, she's definitely unconscious.
That person's not.
And what is that laying in the road?
I don't know.
I can't figure that out.
Molly.
I don't know what happened there.
She got knocked out.
I don't want to
knocked out.
I don't want to laugh, but
dude, that video is resurfaced this week, but that's a couple years old. Holy, like how did that even?
Funny.
How did she, like, how didn't he know? I don't know.
Yeah. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't drink.
No, I don't know.
Ride. I don't know.
Dude, the front brake, like he forgot he had a front brake. I mean, that was his biggest problem.
Maybe take a class on how a clutch works.
Yeah, the clutch was in it. The clutch was his second problem.
Or something. I don't know. Listen, there's lots of the rumor mill is swirling around. And I know that you and I cannot even begin to talk about all the different things that are going on. There are some massive changes coming up in some of the
industry's going wild right now.
It is and we can talk about it in a kind manner because it's kind of over with now. There was the security breach at one of the biggest distributor in the industry, and they finally got to the other side of that. There's a rumor going around that they were being held for ransom, which is, I guess, what hackers do with these kind of companies. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I heard that wasn't true. And if it was like a ransom thing, I don't think a complete rebuild would have been, the outcome.
Well, I can tell you that as a shop owner too, and I'm sure you can confer with this. It was an interesting 45 days or 40 days.
Horrible.
It was terrible, and I'm glad we're to the other end of that. There's some stuff going on, some big shakeups in the racing area. I won't get into that.
Huge.
This month on the 22nd, Harley is supposed to be unveiling something. There's been some.
Is it the 22nd or the 26th?
Is it? I thought it was the 22nd.
You're probably right. I fuck up dates all the time.
But either so, I mean, you're only talking a 4-day differential. But there's been.
If you don't watch it, everyone's going to talk about it without you.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean.
Sure that I wonder if there's a way we could go live with that on our page, like somehow, like.
Yes, there is.
Sure. Oh, everybody! It's Chris from HQ over in the control center.
What do we got, bud?
How you doing, Chris?
I was just thinking about that myself the other day. I was like, somebody that was astute with the technology of broadcast could probably do a screen capture of their thing and then rebroadcast it. I'm sure it'll be breaking some rules, and we'll probably get the the business for it, but I think you could probably see it here.
Wink, wink, nod, nod, right?
Hey, listen, I wanted to butt in too because you guys are talking about the big reveal. Anonymously, someone sent me a kind of blurry cell phone picture. And I know, right? I didn't know if you wanted me to bring that up or there's a lot of speculation. This just showed up in my cell phone. It said sender unknown, and I don't know, but
you don't have my number saved. You prick.
I was trying to put the veil of anonymity over that, John.
Oh man, I wasn't catching that, Chris.
Yeah, when John sent it to me, he says, "I'm not sure if we can share this," and I was like, it's already
scared. I shared it. I'm like, oh, all right.
I told him, I said, dude, we didn't take it.
Right?
It wasn't given to any preferred.
Hey, that's how shit happens, That's why kids be careful. Everybody has a cell phone, and once it's on the internet, it's always there. But what do you think we're seeing here? I mean,
John, you go first.
Dude, I think did you see my meme, by the way?
No.
I made on this?
No.
Or it was actually a customer made it and sent it to me, and I reposted. It was pretty good. You're gonna have to pull that up.
Credit for someone else's work again.
I know.
This month it's somebody else's.
I know. I'm there's a pattern.
Yeah, right.
It looks like a sport tour. You know what I mean? It's some type of sport touring.
What is it's the Sport Glide, right, John? That has those nice bags that are angled like that, right?
Yep. So it's a sport. It's like a combination between the Sport Glide and a Lowrider S.
It looks like it's got a step up style seat, maybe.
It does.
That fairing is very, very close to a certain individual that builds fairings that is a friend of mine. Not saying that they took it or stole or whatever. I don't know. But
there's been so many variations of fairings. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, bro, what fairing's that? You know what I mean? It's almost impossible not to have something similar to a previous attempt. But a lot of the conversation, like when I posted this, you could see if you zoom out a little bit there, Chris, on that picture. Go to the Road Glide front end. Now, is that an inverted front end?
It looks very inverted to me. It looks like the same one that's on the Sport Glide from here.
So so there was a lot of conversation about that, and the seat. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's a step up style seat on that as well.
I want to,
and I don't think it's an aftermarket front end, and here's why. It still has stock handlebars.
Well, didn't the Sport Glide have an inverted front end on it of some sort, or the lower?
Yes, yes, the Lowrider S does. You know what I mean? But no baggers have yet. It
would stand to reason that this is a preemptive move
sport series. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
So a lot of the rumors are, below the CVO is there going to be this, race series, sports series. They're going to have the inverted front ends. They're going to have the Harley branded Olin's. They're going to have, the 117s. You know what I mean? So there's
that'll be a hell of a motorcycle, John. That would be a hell of a motorcycle out of the box.
And to all my chopper brethren out there, now you don't have to feel bad that the factory has followed your trends. They're following other trends too. Yeah, I said it.
So we'll see.
Yeah, right. Chris, I find your banter unequivocally awesome when you just get those little jabs in there and just.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's built in my character. I've been a chopper guy for a long time.
Yeah, you're one of them chopper kids, right? Well, so without any delay, I think it's time to go to our Torque Quick 60 with Chris Callan from Source Media.
Yeah, there he is.
All right, man. This is the part where I would normally say thanks, Jason and John, for having me on here, and thanks everybody that's watching today. This is the Torque Quick 60.
The Torque Quick 60, brought to you by Shop Talk, live Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, not a real big time in motorcycle news this week, but we have a couple pieces for you guys. I'm going to bring them up here real quick. This first coming in from Progressive AFT. Brian Smith joins Progressive AFT management team as Director of Industry Relations. Progressive American Flat Track is thrilled to announce the addition of Brian Smith to its management team in the newly created role of Director of Industry Relations. A primary change for Smith will be serving as liaison within the Progressive AFT community. This key appointment will more closely connect Progressive AFT with its various stakeholders, riders, teams, manufacturers, sponsors, racetracks, broadcasters, and fans in order to help deliver long-term and sustainable growth for the sport. On one hand, it's really great that, Progressive AFT keeps moving forward and everything that's happened with that. The other side of it, and I find myself playing the role of devil's advocate a lot when we talk about stuff like this. But seriously, like John and I can closely relate.
Yeah, you are a devil's advocate, Chris. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, you're an asshole sometimes, Chris. Yeah, go ahead.
But, hey, John, do we need to get you a dump button on your board?
Yeah.
But seriously, John and I can relate to this because, in the Rust Belt, as it were, Pennsylvania, Ohio, up through that, a lot of flat track, all the way from below amateur. Like we have races here at county fairs and shit where they call it farm boy class. It's literally guys in work boots with flannels on, racing quads and shit like that. I think that the more marketable, obviously, the more they clean this up and the more they make it professional and the more investor relations they have, the better it is for marketability. But it kind of gets away from those roots, and we saw through the last iteration of AMA Flat Track as it climbed up to become the sport of kings. it lost a lot of that foundation. You know what I mean? And when AFT first came back out, that foundation was rejuvenated. It was, it was alive again. And the only thing that I said, I sit and watch some of it that like, hey, let's keep this the sport of, working class people that are trying to figure out how to get a trailer across the country to race, because it's more engaging,
Well, why have to go across? Chris, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm gonna, because this has always been my problem with every bit of racing that I've ever tried to do, even if it was BMX racing. It was like, regionally, there was a program, right, where you had to score high regionally, and you had to be there more. And sometimes it wasn't the best racer; it was the racer that attended the most often. And then I got into drag racing, and it took me a year to build my car. I worked at one of the most prominent race shops in the country. I started building my car, and within a year, it went from I could have afforded to and I could have qualified at almost any race, to a year later, we had a guy show up with power windows, power door locks, and his car went over 200 miles an hour on the quarter mile with a small block and a turbo, and it was $100,000 car.
Right.
I mean, I quit. That's why I got out. That's one of the biggest reasons I got out of racing, because I couldn't afford to be competitive at all.
No, and I think, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
That's with everything. You know what I mean? Like, I had a couple people contact me this week, one in particular, Travis from Outcast. He's like, yo, can we add a class to your show? I'm reading the list. I'm like, I got everything covered. You know what I mean? I even added paint, which is, let me rephrase that. Paint is the last thing I do to a bike. You know what I mean? Engine, exhaust, brakes, suspension. You know what I mean? I do everything. Paint is the last thing I do to a motorcycle. I'm like, I added paint. You know what I mean? I'm like, what am I? You know what I mean? He's like, you need an average Joe class, like a garage build.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that,
and I'm like,
small tire bagger build off is great. And
yes, Chris, but it's specific.
Chris, you're far more educated in this, but correct me if I'm wrong. One of the things I love about what we do in the motorcycle community is that you can tell when you go to a show who built their own bike, who paid someone to build it, who spent a lot of money, and who spent a lot of time and thought. And that's what I love about custom motorcycles. And that's what I love about custom motorcycle shows. So people that say they don't like shows, or screw the shows, or I don't care about the shows, fine, fair dues. But when you go to these shows, as many as I go to, and John, you go to, and Chris will never catch up to you, you can tell how much thought versus how much money goes into a project. And that's the one equalizer that I would always tell you, is that being thoughtful about what you do is going to be better.
Well, and the one great thing, but I don't know, man. I don't know anymore, because I think we're reaching a place where the dust is starting to settle, and there's a spot for all of that. You know what I mean? Because it's an undeniable feature in the performance industry, especially, that and unless you are a well-accomplished machinist, you are not going to make all your own parts and come up with a performance-based bike that's as competitive of somebody that really is dialed in on the new products that are available for that style of motorcycle. It's not the same,
Frank at Speed Dealer is, is a prime example of that. Frank at Speed Dealer Customs went to the FXR show and went to John's show at Sturgis last year, and it was mind-blowing to me. Two things: one, how the quality of that motorcycle, and two, how many people walked past it and didn't get how much work he had put into it.
Yeah,
because it made you buy everything.
Now, see this.
He won best of show at ours.
He was at your show. He was not.
He won best of show.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he missed. I thought he was.
No. He took home. We had a titled FXR frame that went to best of show.
That's right.
I'm dying to see what he does with it.
Now here's where I would like to see the rubber meet the road, for lack of a better term. I would like to see a couple of those guys that do know their way around a machine shop take the chopper approach to the performance motorcycle, and go after those same quality and machine built parts, but do them completely one-off, completely original. I know it would take a lot more time, but that would be
somebody in our community doing that right now with an FXR.
Yeah,
we both know who he is.
Yep.
He's doing some really, really killer stuff. So
Right on.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent there,
No,
Chris,
no,
but
it
I
was
would
good.
like to hear more about flat track. I enjoy watching it. I'm going to make it a point when I get to Sturgis this year that I'm going to go watch the flat track races because
what about Bike Week? Go Bike Week.
I didn't know they had them. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even know.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm out. I'm done. Where are they at?
Listen, that's the long-standing.
Volusia.
That's the long-standing joke.
Like American Flat Track, their world headquarters is right there in Daytona, for fuck's sake.
That's the long-standing joke, though. That it was 10 years after me starting to go to Daytona that I woke up with a hangover one morning and went, "You mean there's races here?"
They got bikes?
Dude, I mean, it literally, I didn't know.
Salute.
I mean, I've admittedly been ignorant on the flat track thing for forever, but no one's ever asked me, "Hey, we're going to go over to the flat tracks. Do you want to go?" You know what I mean? I've been asked to go to everywhere, from lollipops to Molly Browns to go walk sport bikes. I've been asked to sport bike race.
No, but you know what? This is a perfect opportunity though for a little bit of education. Is the fact that literally Daytona started as a giant flat track that was half on the beach and half on the street.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I didn't know they still raced flat track there.
And most motorcycle rallies, I mean, because they were so steeped in the AMA and and bike club like AMA club culture, they were centered around racing and hill climbing and and trial skills events, and that's all of that. So, but the average person today know that they probably don't realize how much racing is going on at Daytona, because it's not all just happened to the Speedway. They would love you to think that, but there's racing happening all over the place. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, moving on to the next piece, the greatest of all time, unarguably. AIM Expo is going to be a great party and the perfect way for the industry to reunite. The first time in 2 years, motocross legend Ricky Carmichael, known as the GOAT, greatest of all time, heads to Las Vegas as keynote speaker. Spoiler alert: he will offer his unique insight on what it takes to be a champion. Ricky, if you've never had the benefit of listening to Ricky talk, he is a fantastic speaker, and is involved in track design for some of the most thrilling outdoor motocross and supercross tracks, but also has his eye as he becomes a leader of this whole industry in another role. He also has his eye. I've heard him speak a couple times on the dangers of the tracks continuing to push for that next level, which is ties into the injuries that go on, because when you get an injury motocrossing at that level, it's not like you're just going to be out for a little while or even a season. A lot of times those are career-ending injuries. Yeah. So Ricky Carmichael, everybody, make your plans for AIM Expo if you want to hear him speak. Last piece of news that I have tonight, and this comes in also from Dealer News. They've been killing it, by the way. If you're not tied into Dealer News, head over to dealernews.com for the latest and greatest and updates from the two-wheeled world. Tucker Powersports launches into 2022. With AIM Expo just a few weeks away, Tucker Powersports prepares the largest product launch and dealer education event in the company's history. We've got major product announcements from 5 of our own brands, along with hundreds of new products from Tucker suppliers, said Tucker's Senior Director of Marketing and Own Brands, Andrea Weeke. We also launch Expanded Tucker University, our online portal for product training and communications. All the Tucker brands are going to be represented there. So again, if you haven't made your plans, head over to AIM Expo to get the latest.
Very good.
Think about that.
Awesome.
We were lucky enough to see some of Tucker's launch stuff ahead of time and get some inside information too.
Yeah, and we've got a new product showcase coming up in this hour with James Simonelli from Tucker V Twin and the Twin Power, more specifically the Twin Power brand manager. Chris, thank you for the news. We're going to do the new product showcase, a commercial break, and we're going to come back with Tom Keefer from Franklin Church Choppers right after this in the Shine Werks studio.
Hey there, this is Jason from Torque Performance Television. We're here in Texas at Tucker V Twin with brand manager James Simonelli, and we're talking batteries today.
How's it going, Jason?
Very well. Thank you for having us. So we've got a couple different batteries here, actually 3 different series, all in the Twin Power lineup. Why don't we start over here on this one and tell us a little bit about the AGM and what that means?
Okay, this is the Shocker AGM. AGM is absorbed glass mat. It basically has to do with how the battery is constructed. All our batteries are factory activated, which means you don't have to take caps off and add acid. And, I mean, they're ready to go other than charging. I mean, they come charged, but we always charge a new battery with a slow charge regardless of what anybody tells you. V-twins have real specific needs. This initial start is very, very tough, especially when the bike's cold. You know, you get that tremendous amp draw and the bike goes.
That's when your lights dim when you're going to start it over.
Exactly.
And you can just hear it kind of cranking slow at first.
And because of that, you really need this heavy-duty style flush mount terminal with the internal nut. You know, a lot of guys want to buy a battery from the corner auto parts store, and it might be cheaper.
But in the long run, you're probably buying another one. And this one with the blue top looks an awful lot like this one, has a similar box. This one says Shocker gel battery. What's the difference between the blue top and the black top?
You hit it right on the head. It's the gel. The blue top signifies the gel. It's the electrolyte, basically the goo. It's a different goo inside. And the thing about the gel is it has the absolute highest resistance to sulfation. Sulfation is when you let your battery sit unattended and it starts to deteriorate inside.
So we always say we should put a battery on a battery tuner, but this battery is a little bit better for a bike that doesn't get ridden quite as often, spends a little bit more idle
Absolutely.
time in the garage.
It's got your best shot at lasting a long time. And again, you're correct. Always use a battery tender. These new bikes that have security systems and ECMs, a lot of people don't realize there's a constant draw. And if you just even, you know, you let your bike sit for 2-3 weeks, it could pull it dead. It's really not good for the battery. The less cycles that it has to recover, the longer it's going to last.
Right? And now all the way on the end here is the new Max Plus from Twin Power. And James, this case looks pretty common to me. I've seen this. It looks pretty familiar.
Yeah, you got a good eye, man. This looks exactly like the battery that came in your bike when it was new, except the case is gray instead of black. You'll notice it's got the same heavy-duty style terminal with the stainless steel insert. It's got the stainless hardware. And you know, it's funny. Guy will buy a brand new bike and say, man, my stock battery lasted 5 years, and then it seems like I'm putting a battery in it every year. And I said, you know, I wish I could come up with a battery like that and sell it under Twin Power. It'd make everybody happy. And
These are made in the USA, and they're
course.
warranted for 1 year, and they're OEM fitment and quality.
yes, sir.
Excellent. So listen, go to your local Twin Power dealer and ask for a battery.
I want to add one more thing. You know, when you support a guy like Jason, who's a hardworking guy with a shop, you're supporting a local dealer. He's feeding his family. He's not a big box store. This is the channel you want your money to go to. Because if you have another problem with your bike and you brought a battery from him and you said, hey, Jason, man, my bike's making a funky noise. Could you come out and take a look at it? And I said, you know, he's going to say, yeah, sure. If you go to your corner auto parts store, you're lucky if they'll put your wiper blades on for you. You know what I mean?
Correctly anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
James, thanks much. I appreciate it. Ride safe. For Torque Performance Television, I'm Jason. This is James. Have a great day.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
We're the Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers. We understand the challenges riders face every day. As riders, we want to share the road and be seen by motorists. Remaining visible is critical to our safety and well-being. That's why we work tirelessly to promote motorcycle safety and awareness. We're proud to support our community that includes riders of all stripes. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. The Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
My name is Nick Trask. You're watching Torque Performance TV.
My name is Jeremy. I'm the owner of Jayden Auto Incorporated.
We specialize here in Volvos, sales and service. And what I've noticed most about the 1620 is just how much better they last than my previous red caps that I was wearing. If I could be less tired just wearing these pants to get through my day, it's worth every penny. 1620 has replaced every pair of my work pants and outperformed them as well. When it comes to workwear, you get what you pay for.
And welcome back to the Shine Werks studio. I'm your host, Jason Hallman. To my immediate right here is John O'Brien from Hardcore Cycles. And, we have this little console. Those of you that are watching from home, we have this little console over here that everybody communicates during the show. And they just like to laugh at my eyebrows and my hair. I'm a little bit picky about that stuff. So I was panicking during the break because I had put some stickers up here. Just thought I'd be funny and goof. I couldn't get them off, so I had to tell Chris in the console, I'm like, go right to the commercial. I'm panicking, trying to get the black tape off my face. Oh man! So hey, on the line,
we love the eyebrow jokes. Love them.
It's good. Yeah, they're class. I was panicking though.
Your pet caterpillars lead for a lot of jokes.
Yeah, I used to have a unibrow in high school.
Get out of here.
I did, and then I learned about grooming. On the line, we have with us a good friend, Tom Keefer, from Franklin Church Choppers. Tom Keefer is a very active member in the Sons of Speed community. He is a very well-known, very highly regarded custom motorcycle builder based in somewhere in Pennsylvania. I don't know exactly. I thought it would be in Franklin Church, Pennsylvania, but it's not. I guess Franklin Church is a reference to something nearby. But so
I think he's in Dillville.
Something like that, yeah.
It's below. I know where he's at because I spoke to him in Sturgis about his location. He's only about an hour and 20 minutes away, so he's like south of Harrisburg.
Yeah,
Dillsburg.
Very good.
I was close.
Yes,
yeah.
Dillsville.
I'm good.
Like who?
Dill pickles.
So let's bring Tom in and welcome to the show and to the Shine Werks studio with this next segment. And there he is, Mr. Tom Keefer. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You're looking a little cold. You're looking a little chilly there. It must be cold where you're at.
Well, it is Pennsylvania. Yeah, and it's cold.
I wanted to talk to you first and foremost about that green bike that you're sitting on. That green bike took home top honors at our show in Sturgis, and I want to extend my many thanks to you for being one of the supporters of that show. And that's a beautiful bike. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that bike?
It's a 93 FXR. The frame is completely stock, titled as a 93 FXR, but I basically started with that bare frame and just went from there. Brock's Performance extended swing arm, Legend rear shocks. I put a Stores Performance inverted front end on it. Oh my, Blackmore front fairing, stock gas tank. And then I cut the frame just a little bit, just enough to widen the rear frame rails. I didn't cut them to move them. I just halved them. Put a piece of 1/4-inch plate steel in it so I could get an 8-inch wide fender in, which is from a Harley switchback, and the saddlebags are from a Harley switchback. So I got all the original geometry from the FXR. I didn't want to change that, but and it also has a twin cam 134 and a Baker grudge box, 124 and a Baker grudge box in it. So
that is gorgeous. It's fast. It looks good. You definitely went full green on there. That's a dangerous color if not done correctly. You did a very, very good job of it. So, and I appreciate
Tom,
you.
Speaking of the twin cam, how did you do the conversion? Did you do the oil pan?
Yeah, I actually used a Deviant Customs oil pan. I was actually going to cut the pan up and re-weld it. Actually, I was going to have a friend of mine do it. And no longer with us. Skeeter Todd and I were working together on this a little bit, and he said that he could do the pan. And then one day we were just talking, which I talked to Skeeter usually at that time about 2-3 times a week. And he said, "Hey, I found a place that does these, and I don't have to weld it, and it's a nicer pan." I said, "Well, that's fantastic. It wasn't cheap, but boy, does it fit nice."
Yeah. No, I'm in the process of doing a 110.
Okay.
So I ended up buying a pan off of BMC.
Okay. The nice thing about the pan is you don't have to cut the crossbar out. You know,
No,
you don't
and
have to cut that crossbar out, so you still got the strength.
Cut the frame.
Neither did I.
Cool.
I don't, like I said, the only thing that I did was the rear 1-inch frame rails at the top. I just halved them, so everything stayed the same.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that was it. I was thinking about widening it. I was thinking about doing it, and I was like, I don't want to change the actual geometry, the factory geometry. This bike is so light. It's got BST carbon fiber wheels on it. You ride it, it doesn't feel like it's got bags on it. It's like throwing around a little, you know, Sportster or something. It's so light.
What size?
It's crazy.
What size rear tire did you go with?
I went with a 160. I didn't want to go any bigger. It's a 17-inch 160. So
cool.
And the front's a 19. I went with the 19-inch front wheel. I wanted that 1916 look, more of the factory look.
Is that the Clockworks? They're showing the video of it now. Is that a Clockworks front fender?
Actually, I think it might. Yeah, I believe it is. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look back. I don't remember. I remember every other piece of the bike, but the front fender, I'm pretty sure that's a clock front fender.
It's got to be. I'm looking at it now. It's got to be.
It's a perfect fit.
I see you got the mids. Did you do a custom set of mids, or did you keep?
I did factory. I had to space the left side out about an inch behind the actual factory mount to get around the factory twin cam primary. I also welded a bung into the inner primary and into the outer primary and an O-ringed between the two. So when it goes together, there's an O-ring between them, and then it actually has the mid control. The shifter comes through the primary like it's supposed to, as compared to.
Oh no shit! Okay, cool.
Yeah. That took a little bit of figuring out, but it works really well. And the O-ring between the two halves, I made a recess in the bung that I had welded in.
It's got to groove the center.
So it sits there perfectly. Yeah. So it hasn't leaked yet. So that's a Blackmore front fairing, and Jeff Zielinski at NAMS helped me with that lighting. The lighting in the front there is just so much better. They're bright, super white running lights. Wow. And then when you hit the turn signals, they turn to the amber turn signals. And one of the coolest part is when the turn signal cancels on its own, it goes out for a second and then just comes back on at a slow kind of, it just comes up to power. It looks so cool. It's just, it catches people's eye all the time.
I've been hogging all the questions. I'm sure Jason's got something now.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up a couple things. First off, thanks, John. Is that you brought up Skeeter Todd, and we have a picture of you and Skeeter Todd. And obviously, I know that you guys were super close. You know, one of the things that I think gets lost on people that don't have the resources, the same resources that we do in the business, is that, you know, these guys that hang out and they build bikes together, you know, that aren't in the industry, the same thing happens in the industry too, where we have all these resources and all these friends. And I think it's really a credit to what you do at Franklin Church Choppers. When you look at, you have a Blackmore fairing on it, and you have an SNS motor, and you've got NAMS lighting on it. And I think that's a pretty astounding thing. And you've worked on some other projects with Skeeter Todd, I'm sure. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of tell people that don't know who he really was and the kind of major impact that he left on the motorcycle industry.
Well, Skeeter's one of those guys that was in this industry for, I'm going to just give a good guess, probably 40, 45 years, maybe even 50. Such a wonderful man. He's such a soft-spoken. He's so soft-spoken. If he liked you, he liked you. You didn't ask to be Skeeter's friend. He actually let you in, and you knew when Skeeter wanted you to be around or wanted to talk to you. He knew if he called you, you knew you were okay. But Skeeter was one of those guys. He was approachable. Believe me, he was very approachable, but he just was a man of few words unless you kind of got to know him. He just knew everything. I mean, he was such a wealth of knowledge. He helped me with so many things. I mean, at least once or twice a week, I'd call him and he'd give me a call, and it didn't matter what I was doing. If Skeeter called and I saw his caller ID, I took the call and sat on the stool here and just listened to him. We just talked. It was a wonderful relationship. I knew him for probably the last 8 years before he died last year, or was actually, I think it was 19. Yeah, it was 19. We lost a year. We lost a whole damn year somewhere. I don't know where. So, but I spent a lot of time with Skeeter and a lot of time on the phone. So he was such a wonderful guy. He did so much things. I mean, he worked at SNS. He worked behind the scenes at OCC at one time for many years, did a lot of their technical stuff. I think he worked at Tucker. He was one of the buyers original for Tucker, like way back. He did so many things that I don't even know about. I mean, I just know that he was an icon in the industry, and to be able to be a friend and him call you a friend was quite honorable, honor for me.
I got to meet him one time. He was super cool. And I can't remember where we were when we met, but it was in 2008. It was when it was around the time that the SNS 50th was, where everybody had a bike to build, and he built this really, really cool Sportster. And me being a Sportster nerd, I really thought it was cool that when everybody got to pick the motors they wanted to build, that I gravitated towards a guy. I knew he was a performance guy when he picked to build a bike around a Sportster. You know what I mean?
Jason, was that the 98-inch or the 100-inch Sportster engines that they had?
100-inch billet, with a really nice side cover and the corrected pushrod angles and everything was really, really cool, and it was really nice to meet him. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to pay homage to him a little bit in here, and because I don't want people like that to not be acknowledged in the performance industry, when that's what John and I and Chris and I are all trying to do here, and all the team members at Torque is trying to kind of be that place that collects all the performance side of things and that. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, to change gears a little bit, was you use the switchback stuff on the back of that bike, and I don't understand why that's not more popular.
Well, it was really cheap, I tell you that. I was at a swap meet, and I had some other stuff, and I walked over and I saw these switchback bags, and they're almost identical to the full-size bags, but they're just a little bit smaller. They open up the same way, but they have just a little bit different latching mechanism on the backside. I traded some relatively inexpensive stuff that I had in my pile of swap meet stuff for the saddlebags, and I just couldn't believe it. I was so happy. And they even had quick detach the hardware on the back. Now, I didn't use that because I had to space them out to get around the shocks on the back of this bike. They're spaced out about an inch. So I made mounts and welded them into the original mounts. But I love them. They're big enough to carry stuff, but small enough that they don't overpower the back of the bike like a full-size dresser bag would.
Yeah. Because sometimes it can get a little clunky back there if you do. And I've seen, we've done those conversions. Cycle Visions used to have that, or still has that conversion kit for Softails and stuff and that. So it's very well done. Very well done. One of the other things that you are very active in, and you are help move the needle as much as possible. And, I think you've been around since the genesis of it. And I think we were talking the other day, and it's like, there was a point in time where it was basically the lanes, and you were one of the early ones in the Sons of Speed, and you campaign a bike in the Sons of Speed. You always have. You're very supportive of the community. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Sons of Speed, and you've got a couple of motorcycles that are vintage, legit 100-year-old motorcycles.
Well, it's a little interesting there, and to go right back to Skeeter Todd again. Skeeter introduced me to Rick Petco a few years ago, and when he did, we rode the Sturgis together. And I don't know if you can see me. My screen's frozen. Are you hearing me okay?
I can hear you, yeah. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Yep. I'm looking at a screen that's frozen with your face on it, so I didn't know if it was going through. But anyway, Skeeter gave me a call.
It's like a nightmare.
Skeeter gave me a call one day and says, "Hey, get a hold of Rick. He's going to be racing in Sons of Speed, and he needs help." So I called Rick, and we talked for a couple minutes, and I said, "Hey, you need help at Sons of Speed?" He's like, yeah, come on down. Rick is such a laid-back guy. He's like, "Yeah, come on down." So I bought a ticket, not knowing if I needed a ticket or could get in as a pass. So I just bought a pass. I bought a ticket, showed up the morning of the first race, stood outside in line to get in the infield pit pass, and I started talking to a couple people. Well, it turns out the guy's name was Rick as well. He was Billy's partner at the time. May still be, but so I started talking to him, didn't even know who he was. And Valerie, I can't think of Valerie's last name. Valerie, the Salt Flat drag race girl, beautiful. Valerie Thompson was standing there talking to him as well. So I was talking to her. Well, anyway, after a couple minutes, went inside, and he says, what are you doing? I said, "I want to come in and, just look around the pits and, help Rick Petco, whatever." So this guy, Rick, introduces me to Billy and X at the same time, Xavier. And Billy says, "Hey, you know anything about Amel carburetors?" And I was like, "I know a little bit about him." He goes, "Well, set the needle on that one over there And I mean, literally knew me for 30 seconds and told me to set the needle in this carburetor. Didn't know me from Adam. I set the needle. It had a broken clip, so I figured out how to fix that because, of course, we didn't have any clips at the races. So I got it done. I walked over and told Billy I got this carburetor done, and he goes, "Well, start it up." I said, "I don't know how the hell to start that thing up." He goes, "Well, come here," because it was my first real experience with a rip start, push start, direct drive Sons of Speed motorcycle. Turns out it was the bike that Josh Owens was racing that year. So he showed me how to start it up. We did it, and he calls X over, and he introduced me to X yet again, which both of them only knew me for 15 minutes, and says, "X, Tom's going to help you out with your Mac." I think it was a 1913 Perry Mac. That it was Billy's, but X was racing it. So I basically pitted Xavier's bike with them that whole day. Went to the shop that night, and lo and behold, I walk into the shop, and there's Steve Broyles. So I see Steve Broyles standing there, and he's like, "Hey, Tommy, what's going on?" But I had no idea. So I saw Steve Broyles and started working on the bikes at Billy's place, and went home, went to bed that night, got back up at 5 a.m, drove back an hour to go back to the shop again. And Steve, they had never gone to bed. So I jumped up on the bracket, started helping Steve again. And I've been there since then. I guess just the little bit of dedication, showing Billy that I wanted to help without any return, if you know what I mean. I wanted to be part of it. And I tell you what, I couldn't have been more welcomed by the people that I've met. What an awesome, awesome group of racers, support. Everybody that's at that race has always been fantastic. Love them.
Yeah, we got to go there for the first time this year. Myself, representing, going there for Torque, and obviously, you and I have met each other last year and stuff, and
sure.
Watched Chris get an opportunity to race one of your bikes, and it's kind of one of those things where I've had a habit of not understanding what the whole purpose of that was. And I was really blown away with the quality of machinery, the quality of people, the quality of the event, and the way it went off. New Smyrna Speedway was really, really fun. My wife says she wants to learn how to ride a motorcycle just so that she can ride around that track, which is really awesome. Wow. And I found out in there that there's so many people that I kind of already knew. And then there's of course, you mentioned Steve Broyles, and, I've known him for the better part of my existence, and have gone way, way back with him. And that's one of those guys that does not get enough credit for his knowledge, does not get enough credit for his effort, does not get enough credit for his contribution to the industry. And I've made it one of my life goals to make sure that man knows how much of an impact he's made on
yes.
for me and people in the industry. And it's going to be something that I'm working very hard towards, trying to get everybody to understand what a treasure he is.
Well, let me tell you a little story about Steve. So I built a knucklehead, KN93 knucklehead, 93 inch, 15 years ago. And I was riding it to the smokeout. I think it was like smokeout 8 or 9 or something like that. I don't even remember which one it was, because that's what I did every year for like 11 years. I built a bike, left the day after it was done, and rode to the smoke. Well, on the way there, the motor started making noise, and I was worried because it was top end noise, and it was like a squeak, 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 squeak. So I pulled into the first gas station. Of course, didn't hear it until I pulled into the gas station with, half helmet on and straight exhaust on this bike. So I pull in the gas station, I hear it. So I cracked the top line while it was running. It's got plenty of oil coming to the top end, but it's squeaking pretty good. So I shut it down, put it in the trailer, and I actually rode in the trailer for the next leg, and I called SNS. This is where the story with Steve. SNS tells me, "You're going to the smokeout." Yeah. Well, when you're there, talk to Steve Broyles. He's working on Hammer's bike right now. And the bike that he's working on for Hammer was doing the same thing. So he's got all this stuff being straightened out. And signing my Interstate Battery guys here. Thank you. What? So, yeah. So they tell me to call Steve or talk to Steve. So I get down there. I show Steve the bike, and he's like, yeah, you got the top rocker just needs a little bit of work. It's in there, just whatever. And okay, so that's how I met Steve, like really met him. And from there on, that was probably 15 years ago. And I just made it a habit. That guy knows virtually everything you can think of a motorcycle. And if he doesn't know it.
Dudes that has forgotten more than we have had. You and I are about the same age. We've had an opportunity to learn. He's that guy. And the one thing I'll say about Steve is he will call and check up on you when you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you think that he's kind of. It almost seems like you don't even understand it but he's like you said about Skeeter Todd. If he likes you, you're one of his people now, and you just can't shake it. He's a fixture in my career. He's a fixture in my personal life too. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy, a wealth of knowledge. He will pick at you and like just jab you over and over and over again if he likes you. If he doesn't like you, he doesn't talk to you much. So, nope. But boy, I call him when I run into a rut or something that I really don't know. I call him. He's always got an answer. Always has an answer. He is the guy. He's an icon. That he's an unknown icon. I hate to say it. He's not unknown, but a lot of people don't know the depth of his knowledge.
That's why I say he's an untold treasure in our motorcycle industry, and I'm going to make it part of my professional goal to make.
Okay, well, that's good. Love the guy. So anyway, that's my Sons of Speed story. So I've been there ever since. I helped support the first 2 or 3 races, and I actually had a motorcycle I was building before the first race, but I didn't have an engine. So on my way home from the first race, I stopped at Wheels Through Time and talked to Dale Wachsler, who invited me there on a Sunday before they opened, and I bought an engine, a 1916M ball bearing engine from Dale, and that's the engine in my 1916, and that's the one Chris raced last year. Very, very fast, knock on wood, reliable motorcycle. It's not let me down yet.
Yes.
I don't know. I fell out of range there for a minute, but Tom, I just wanted to say thank you for spending some time with us today with our viewers. And where can people find you in Daytona, and how do they find you online?
Well, online, I have a website. There's virtually nothing on my website. It's franklinchurchchoppers.com, but basically it tells you to go to Facebook. I do Franklin Church Choppers on Facebook, Franklin Church Choppers on Instagram, and that's pretty much where you can reach me. I post usually daily, maybe once a day, once every other day. I try not to overdo it so your feed isn't pushed with all my silliness. But that's where you can find me. When I'm in Daytona, I'll always be at the Sons of Speed race. And then after that, that's a great picture there, me and Billy. We raced this year. He beat me. But and after the race was over on the back lap, I reached out, and I couldn't believe it. Somebody actually caught that picture. That was about a half a second is all that was. Yeah, somebody caught it. Wow. That's pretty cool. So there's Chris welding my pedal. He went out and practiced for 5 or 6 laps, came in, and the pedal fell off the bike when we put it on the stand. Instead of under the weight of his leg, it was there, and it was an inferior weld that I had done years ago. I ground a little bit too much of it, but it's just funny that he went around the track how many times. But that's that last picture you were at is me on my 13 and Chris on his 16, and we're just getting ready to go out and do a practice run. There's Big Poppy right there looking at us, Steve.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Steve's a staple at Sons of Speed. He works tirelessly. People just don't give him enough credit when it comes to how hard he works and how much he does behind the scenes at a lot of these little events. So, but it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year. There's good old Tom Banks who just started up competition distributing. So that's pretty awesome.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, we're gonna wrap up here and let you get to work today, so you can work on some of the things in your shop there. Thank you very much for your time. I will talk to you very soon. We'll see you.
Good talking to you, Tom.
Have a great day, Tom.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
Take care. See you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, what a great interview. He's such a great guy. And, he's one of these dudes that another one that you find out that here they are. They've been doing this a very long time, and they're very good at it. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to have a picked apart feature segment, and then we're going to go to From the Gram, you and mine favorite. We'll be right back in the Shine Werks studio. Talk to you soon.
Cool.
The devil in my dreams. make me feel alive. Till you come back home, until you come back home, until you come back home, till you come back home. She make me feel alive, make me feel alive. She make me feel alright. She makes me, she make me feel alive, make me feel alive. Till you come back home, until you come back home.
Hey guys, Mikkel here from Clockworks. Today I'm going to talk to you about a fantastic cleaning product that we offer called Shine Werks. I usually apply the product on one side of the microfiber towel and usually have a dry side, so kind of like the Karate Kid, you're going to do a wax on, wax off, clean it with one side, flip it to the dry side, you'll have no streaks left. But Shine Werks is a really great product that cleans and details the entire motorcycle for you. Everybody knows us because of our fantastic Clockworks flare windshields, but a lot of people didn't know that we also have a great cleaning product. Shine Werks is a cleaning product that will clean and detail the whole bike. Now you can have something that will safely clean and protect the matte finish and also shine the gloss part as well as the windshield and any chrome you have on the motorcycle. Pick up a bottle at your local dealership, give us a call, order it on getclock.com. You can even find us on Amazon Prime now.
What's up, guys? This is Carl from Lucky Speed Shop, and you're watching Torque Television.
Picked Apart, brought to you by Sawicki Speed. Performance exhaust with a lifetime warranty, made in the USA.
My name's Adam, Jacksonville, Florida. It's the 2016 FXDP. I was built my garage, me and a couple of buddies. Boosted Brad painted it. It was done about March this year, it was finished up. Quite a bit done to it, pretty much head to toe. It's got Rubifini brakes, got them from Italy. These guys are awesome to work with. Ton of Boosted Brad parts. It's got Flex Audio on the front, Racetech suspension, front and rear. Diamond Lane Cycles out in California took care of the blue shafts and anodizing on the shocks. Levers, Elite Mototech, Boosted Brad grips, Boosted Brad risers, air cleaner cover, floorboards, shifter peg, HPI pipe, Santoro, Chacos all throughout, fueling oil cap, slipped it two in the front and rear, glossed the controls, glossed the bars, did a ton of powder coat all the way down to wheel bearings and lower rocker covers, controls, all the arms and that good stuff. I went with Rubifini brakes mostly because they were kind of new and they were the right blue for me, but they're also a performance caliper. The guys over there actually got them to me from Italy in less than a week, believe it or not. I couldn't get brakes here for that, you know. I went through 4 different pipes before this one. I ended up with a electro-dipped HPI. It performs amazing, it'll handle big power, it sounds incredible. Jimmy over there is awesome to work with. You know, they make stellar parts. They got a stellar reputation in the community. I mean, why not give them a shot? They actually got it to me in time to make Bike Week last year, which was huge. He really came through for me. So all the fasteners on the bike, either the Santoro Chacos, the blue ones, or I went with ARP for everything else I could find. I wanted to get as many blue Chacos as I could, just little accents. It's all about subtle things. I didn't want blue wheels or blue primary. I wanted just little small touches so it didn't overdo it. This paint's already super blue when it wasn't. Originally I was planning on not going that far with it, but that's how things go. Doing Racetech suspension in the front and rear, 2+, front and back. Guys over at Diamond Lane also got the blue shocks for me. They also did the shafts in the rear shocks and the anodizing on the reservoirs. Inside the front is Racetech springs, gold emulator valves, Speed Merchant, preload adjusters. Thing rides like a dream. Super tall. I'm not a tall guy, but on the road, it feels incredible. I couldn't ask for better. Did get a saddleman made. Boosted Brad got that for me too. It's blue stitching. Got the Death Metal Racing emblem on the step up there. He did the custom order for me. Hit him up. He can definitely get you whatever you want. It feels incredible. Tuck and roll is the only way to go. So right now, motor-wise, it's just a 103 with a 585 cam, high flow SNS filter with Brad's cover, and then of course the HPI. It does okay. The numbers, I'm impressed for what it is, but I have a second motor sitting on the bench. I'm gonna send the bottom end out to Dark Horse, more than likely. Have them do the whole thing. Probably run I don't know what I'm gonna do for the top end yet, keep it a secret, but should be roughly in the 150 range when I'm finished with it. My name's Adam. Thanks for watching. You're watching Torque Performance Television.
And that, John, is what we're talking about when we were talking earlier about knowing when somebody takes a project from stem to stern and does everything on it. That bike is absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to see it.
He was before he had it painted. He entered that in our show the prior year, and then was like, "Dude, I got to get this thing painted." Walked over at the show and said, "Brad, I need you to paint this for next year."
Yeah. Well, it knocked it out of the park. And,
super clean.
Every little detail on that bike is well done. And that's what I was talking about when you put a lot of thought in. I mean, there's obviously a lot of money spent on that, but there's a lot of things on that bike that are not catalog order parts. You have to dig down to find somebody that can properly anodize those hard chrome forks and the shafts and the shocks. You have to take the shocks apart. I mean, somebody had to do that's very laborious, and that bike turned out very laborious. That means it's extremely labor intensive. My resolution for 2022 was to stop being condescending. Condescending means that you're
God help us. One eyebrow joke, and here we are.
Yeah, John, if we were in the same room, you'd want to punch me more often than you already do. John, it's time for our fourth and final segment of the night. It is time for
This is my favorite.
And it is my favorite too, and I've got some good ones on deck for us.
Oh, here we go.
From the Gram is brought to you by Law Tigers Motorcycle Lawyers. Go to lawtigers.com.
All I need is one still, a couple bills. Came in this shit by myself. Dog, why you fuck this girl? Oh, shit, cause
that's my expectation, John. I want to see a video of you and Chris riding together in Pennsylvania when
he's got the ice studded tires.
Well, no, I know how it works.
Yeah, he's got,
you need to get a set of those.
You're from Florida. I just want to be clear.
Oh, listen, since we're getting into ball busting, I have my own from the Gram today. It's not actually on the Gram yet. look at Jason's.
Can I just
tell me if do you guys want to see me put this on the Gram?
Unaware of the fact that you could still see me during a commercial break. That's why, if you notice later in the show, after you said that to me, I do this now so that if I have to adjust anything or figure anything out, you son of a.
But yeah, we'll make that video of me and John riding in the snow.
I was crying.
Oh, I saw you.
What the fuck is he singing?
It was the Metzler commercial. It was. I was singing the Metzler commercial.
Listen, you did it. You did it quite well. If that's any consolation, you really did.
I told you, not only am I the premier air guitar soloist in the country, I'm also. I can lip sync better than most people can.
Oh God.
So let's go to from the Gram number two.
Number two.
This one, I don't know who posted this. I just call this one Superman. It's epic. We're probably going to have to watch it twice because you really have to pay attention to the last 10 seconds of it, but it's excellent.
Oh, this is good.
Chivalry's not dead. He comes over to help his beautiful wife. You know,
four-wheel drive. All right, you got it. All right.
got you, boo. Watch this. Here we go. You watching? Dude.
Where'd he go?
He gone. He gone. That one was it was almost so aggressive the way he flew out of there that I thought. I had told Chris, I'm like, I don't know if I can run this one. He may have been killed or worse.
That hurt. He felt
had to, dude. Oh god, this is worth this. It's definitely worth a second watch. Right?
Dude, the white T-shirt kind of like exaggerates the flight.
It does. That dude has an S on his chest for sure.
Hey, and he was getting it like a boss for a second.
Oh, he was.
You know, that was probably what's going through.
Look there.
Man, check me out. I got a wheelie going. Yeah. Oh, God.
I'm okay.
We had a that is so awesome. So our third video comes from Club.
That one's gonna be hard to beat.
It's gonna be hard to beat. That might be so early in the year to have one of the best of.
No.
Right? So their third video comes from our friends over at Club Style Thailand.
Oh.
Listen to the end of the video. Did you hear it, John?
Yes.
Oh, good Lord. That is great. That is so great. So great. And our fourth and final one this week is from our friends at Sporty Mob. This is Violent Out. This is a good video, dude.
Wow.
I do not have those kind of onions anymore.
Dude, how did he keep it up? That's look.
Chris, how fast do you estimate they're going in that video?
70.
Oh,
you know, it's funny that you asked me that because I have experience in that exact arena, riding with Bobby Seeger, John the Painter, and Tattoo Scene, like seeing the Bronx Bomber. We all took Indian Larry motorcycles on the streets of San Francisco one day, and it was exactly like that. And at least 70 miles an hour. Like if you're gonna clear between streets like that, you're at least doing 70.
Yeah. Dude, there's railroad crossings around here where
Good
you
times.
can you can do that, and it's
one of these days. I'm gonna post. I've got a video. And Chris knows what video I'm talking about. I am going to post this week. I'll do it today on Torque on the Instagram. But I am going to post a video of Aaron Green on his Motard chopper almost 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Clearing on a 10-foot long chopper, clearing a set of railroad tracks. And I think Aaron told me he had to go 80 or 90 to hit it the way he hit it.
Wow.
And dude, on a rigid frame chopper. So
no thanks.
Oh yeah, not anymore, man. I don't heal like I used to. I stubbed my toe and it hurts for 2 weeks. Listen, I want to thank Tom Keefer for coming on tonight. I want to thank our studio sponsor Shine Werks for supporting us all in 2021 and through 2022. I want to give you an opportunity, John. Things are back. The wheels are back on the bus. You guys are flying now. Hardcore Cycles is everything is good with the back to getting orders shipped on time. Not that you didn't do everything in your power to make sure that
we did everything we could. It was it was a horrible month.
Yep. So if you're looking
it was a month.
Yep, it was. If you're looking for a great place to buy online parts, go to hardcorecycles.com.
There we go.
And check out, John, your website looks fantastic. You can shop by brand, shop by item type, and everything is going to get you in the quickest and most expeditious form possible. And listen, make sure you're following Hardcore Cycles online, because that's where you're going to find out where the deals are. John, anything you want to add to that? Let everybody know, there's some things. I know there were some specific things you told me today. There was, how many back orders were released? Or yesterday?
Yesterday, there was like 33 released.
Okay. And that's not 33 items that you've sold. That's 33 different types of items that you've sold several items of. So several $1,000s. So things are moving back out. So folks, if you order something from Hardcore Cycles, you're going to start seeing it in the mail. And if you're in Central Florida and you are looking for a great place, the best place to have your motorcycle serviced, come check out Cycle Tune. Our team. Yes, here. Absolutely. Dyno Tune. And we have our Dyno Shootout is our third installment of the Dyno Shootout is coming January 19th from 6 to 9, brought to you by Duke's Brewhouse and sponsored by the Fran Hosch Law Group. And it's round 3.
Hang on.
Right? What do you got?
No, go ahead. Finish the Dyno Shootout promo, and then I can't waste this one.
Okay. All right, great. I can hardly wait to see what you're going to do, Chris. 6 to 9 p.m. and we're going to have round 3. And the first one we had about 10 people show up. The second one we had about 20 people show up. But they found out that we're giving away a $200 cash prize, so the most horsepower and torque.
Oh, there you go.
It's It's getting serious now. So now people are, and I have it. I've got to get from Chris. I've got to get the WWE style belt. He's going to put me in touch with the company that makes that for, so we can put it all on there. And hey, I want to give a shout out to my buddy, Nothing Stock Cam. If you don't have your Nothing Stock Cam shirt, make sure you're following him on Instagram. Get yourself.
What fairings that?
Those are Road Glide fairings, FXR fairings, Street Glide fairings. It's kind of like the Brady Bunch, right?
It really is.
There's Nothing Stock Cam right there in the middle. So make sure you're following him online. He does a lot of good things here for us at Torque. And Chris,
don't forget about the Hardcore Cycle Show, Bike Week.
Bike Week is coming up, man.
It's fast,
very quick. So get your bikes in order. Get your small tire bagger out there. Make sure you can. It's going to be that competition is getting more and more intense.
The hashtag, people are the hashtag's pretty prevalent these days, so check that out.
I want to make sure we thank our sponsors too: Electric Lighting, SNS Cycles, Law Tigers, of course, Clockworks family products, Shine Werks, IO Mounts, Sawicki Speed, and we've got Bell Helmets is come on board here and with the magazine, and so we're gonna have a good year in 2022. This is our second show of the new year. John, thank you for sitting in with me last week. Chris, same to you as well. I appreciate the help. And Chris, what do you have for us?
Well,
I can hardly wait.
One second. I just wanted to follow up the hashtag Skinny Tire Bagger Build Off. If you guys want to keep up with that, there's a lot of the stuff that's going on there, just so you can see. The other thing, I think John and I would be remiss if we didn't take just a minute and congratulate Jason on leveling up as a baller, because you have to be an absolute baller to get Ice-T himself to do an endorsement on your website. I'm just saying,
there he is,
dude.
While they do,
how you rolling? How you rolling, Holmes?
6 in the morning, police at my door. This week across the bathroom floor. Didn't know what
that is great.
Time to ask. Yeah, I know, right? I had to look at that like 10 times. I'm like, I don't recall meeting that gentleman.
Dude.
Hey, if we're not having anything, we're having fun here in the Shine Werks studio.
100%.
Television once a week. We thank you for following along. This is episode 31 coming to a close. John, have a great weekend. Chris, have a great weekend. I'll talk to both of you very, very soon. And everybody that's watching, make sure you're liking, sharing, and helping us promote it. Make sure you're participating in the online chat over here, and we'll get your questions answered. Until next week, we'll see you. Have a good night.
Talk to you guys. Thanks for watching.
Yep. Use your word, John.